Hello everybody. Been a little while since I've done a video, so I thought I would just do a quick little video and show you some stuff we got going on around the farm. You can see here behind me, got a big brush pile. I had some trees pulled out with an excavator and piled up, and I've got about 7 piles left. This one's here in the front yard. One of the smaller ones is left, but I'm gonna try to get it burned here pretty quick. I'm going to get a chainsaw and cut it up some before it burns. But we've got the garden in. The garden's starting to bloom. Spring's getting here. My wife and daughter, they planted this little gnome garden the other day and just showed it to me. You guys might find that pretty neat. And my daughter, she enjoys doing that sort of stuff. But right over here, we'll check on the bees real quick. I thought I'd show you guys the garden spot that we've got. Got it fenced in with 6-foot chain link fence to keep the deer and animals out of it there. We'll make a loop here by the bees and check on them. They were really flying earlier today. Starting to get dusk now, so they're starting to wind down. All of them coming back to the colony for the night, but all of them were moving good. This right here is one of the swarms that we got. I think that last swarm that we got on the flatbed of that pickup truck, I moved it into a 10-frame box that we strapped down with the strap and blocked the entrance off. And then this one here is my Apamay hive. It's just an insulated hive. It's doing well. And got another one here that I've had. And in both sides of this box here, this is the first swarm that we caught here that I picked up, the first one from that flatbed truck. And then this was that second swarm that I picked up from that yard underneath that wisteria bush. I've just got a divider in the middle, got both swarms on both sides of that long box there. But all the bees are doing well, even at that second yard. I've already got supers on them, and they're bringing nectar, a little bit of nectar in. Right here on top of this fence, we've got a grapevine, actually 2 grapevines. You can see one right here on this corner, and then it splits and goes both ways here. And then right at that second post is a second grapevine, and we've just got it trellised along the top of that fence going the other direction. But I always get a lot of grapes off of it. It always does really well. And right over here is our raised bed. We normally keep strawberries in here, and this is a little bit of kale that we seeded in here. And I seeded this thing up. A little bit of garlic down here on this end, left over from last year. We didn't plant any cloves in it this year, but everything we seeded in here, the chickens got this net down, got underneath it, and pulled all of our, I think we only got 3 strawberry plants left in here. This whole end of this thing was strawberries, and the chickens got in here and pulled all of them up, but those 3 that we were able to save. And then the kale, this is some of the kale that survived that we had planted. I need to get it thinned out. Guys, our potatoes are doing well. Both of these rows are red potatoes, and then we've got some cauliflower here in this row, and then Brussels sprouts, these first 2, and then broccoli. Some of our broccoli is actually starting to head out a little bit, so it won't be too long. Everything's really going to be hopping. And this is Brussels sprouts here in this row. And then right here we got some cabbage in these next 2 rows. We got 2 jalapeno pepper plants planted right here in the end of both of these rows. And then cucumbers, 2 different varieties of cucumbers around these trellises. Just basically makes a U right here, or we can walk inside of it or walk around the outside of it. And same thing with this old cage that I've got here. Just got cucumbers planted around the outside edge of it on 3 sides, and we'll be able to walk in from that side to get any cucumbers that are hanging down. Right here we got a few bell peppers planted. I think about 6 bell peppers seeded in these 2 short rows here. And then got 6 rows right here of crowder peas, and then half of this long hole right here where the dirt's tore up is going to be crowder peas as well. Then we got squash, zucchini squash planted here. And just I seen a few coming up earlier. You can see one just sprouting, starting to come up there. And then 2 more up here just breaking the ground. Then over here we got yellowneck long squash in this row all the way down to the fence post there. And then we've got tomatoes seeded all the way down to here, pretty thick seeded, so when they start coming up we're going to have to thin them out, and we'll take those, the ones that we pull out, thin out, and we'll finish that row all the way down the fence to the end with some more tomato plants. We've got a different variety seeded right here. Looks like one might be breaking through right here. I'm not 100% sure. I have to wait till they get a little bit bigger to tell. And then right here some plants, some salsa, smaller tomato plants that we bought. And then I believe these were Better Boy, or let's see. It's called a slicing tomato. They didn't have a name on it, but that's something that we bought from the feed store. And I've got one more row of potatoes back here. I wanted to see how it would do in this hay. So most of these potatoes here are just planted in this hay hold up. There's a row of peas. I was out here earlier planting them Crowder peas. Had my wife helping me. She done them a little bit thick. That's all right. We can always thin them out. I forgot to cover this row up, but I basically got 6, and then that long row there of these peas. And I wanted to see, I done this row and this hay, just kind of an experiment. The rest of it's all buried in dirt, but I wanted to put them underneath this hay just to see, compare to what this row did to it being in dirt, just know if it'll work or not. So we'll see if they end up sprouting or not. That's pretty much the garden. There's the goats. When we get through with the garden in the wintertime, the goats, this will be the goat pen for the winter. And I just got them kept in on this side with hot wire. We just stretched 4 strands of hot wire around this little area back here. Around the garden, there's a big wooden spool that they climb up on. And you can tell. Well, they're just all around the outside of this garden until wintertime gets here, and then we'll let them in here to clean everything up when we're done with it. That's basically it, guys. I just thought some of you might enjoy seeing that, and it's been a little bit since I've done a video. So there's our garden. I'm excited to get everything start coming up. Really ready to see some of these tomatoes start coming up. That's my favorite vegetable out of the garden, is the fresh tomatoes every year. It won't be much longer now. Figure while we're out here, I've got the stock trailer hooked onto the truck, and that younger bull that I had out here, I showed in some of my other videos back here behind the house. He got taken to the processor this morning, so about 3 weeks we'll be getting him back and be stocking the freezer full of meat for the year. Here's our chicken pen here. Basically it's got, again, 6-foot chain link fence, and I've got this heavy duty netting around the top of the whole thing, and got it divided into 3 sections. So right here is the main chicken house, and then we've got it divided right here in the middle of this pen, and we've got another little chicken house here that I built. And basically it was for raising chicks in. Once we get chicks, there's a few of the hens. These are the last chicks we raised, and they're still roosting in this box. But the chickens get turned out every day, so every morning they get let out and they run around the yard, and then every night we lock them back up and gather eggs every afternoon. But whenever we incubate eggs or have little chickens and it comes time to move them outside, we'll shut them off in this area right here, and this house is the little chicks roost in. But this is the main, that one there, she doesn't ever like to go in the pen, so she roosts outside. This right here is our egg box. Got a couple of chickens hanging out in here. Neither one of them are sitting. They're just roosting in there for the night. But this is where the majority of our eggs get laid. And then here's the inside. When I built this thing, I should have built it a lot bigger than what I did. We've got a few chickens roosting up here, and then the majority of them roost here in the house. You see that chicken sticking her head out of the laying box there. Just that one little hole going out into the pen. There's still a few of them that hadn't gone to roost yet, but this is basically the front of the chicken pen. The main entrances. This goes into this pen here, and then this door open up and go into this pen. Then I've got another small cage here where I can put some small chicks if I need to separate them. But they've got this whole area here they can run around in too, and it's got the netting on top to keep birds of prey and raccoons and predators from climbing the fence over there with them. Just got one hole cut right in the middle, and I can block that off if I need to separate them or anything into two separate pens. That's basically it. This here is the 4-strand hot wire that's keeping the goats in. It does a pretty good job. Once they realize what it was, they won't go past it anymore. But anyway, there's something I didn't know goats did either. You know, these 2 cedar trees that I've got in here. Those goats have eaten the bark off of both of them. Figure it may end up killing them. That's fine if it does. I've got a win-in partnership on a sawmill this year, so if that ends up being the case, I've got something I can do with them. So that's it. We've got a big pear tree right here. We always get quite a few pears off of. Then on each side of it is a peach tree, small peach tree right here behind this disc. Then another small peach tree right here. You can see only that one side of it's and the main branch at the top, and the one side's all it's green this year. Last year I had that tree dug up from over here. It was a little bit too close to that pear tree, so we had it dug up while the excavator was here, dug a hole for it here, and transplanted the whole tree. And I wasn't sure if it was going to make it or not, but we do have some live growth on it. And I'll get out here this year and trim that dead growth off of it, and hopefully that tree will end up making it. But anyway, guys, there's kind of a quick tour of the farm. Just give you a little video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.